Yes. Welcome back to another stream. As LB said before, it's Bernardo season. It's transfer season even. We transfer stream, and yeah, the price has been set for a certain Bernardo Silva.
Apparently so, and we'll get it in just a second. But I'm getting a bit confident that he might stay, and I know Hugh's feeling the same. Before we get into all that, guys, make sure you drop the likes in it. Let's get those likes up. Over 250 people in the stream right now on this fairly miserable Monday afternoon. Let's get those likes past 100, and we need 30 people to hit the thumbs up button, man, to get us to 100 likes. We're also less than 100 subscribers away from 73,000 subscribers, man. So make sure you subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Let's just have a little bit of a recap on Bernardo Silva. Of course, we all know that the guy wants to leave. That's no news. Everyone knows that anyway. But what is sort of interesting and the developments on it, and the reason why this is so intriguing and people are getting so curious about this Bernardo Silva transfer speculation and rumours, is because it seemed that over the last year or two that he's only wanted to go to one place, Barcelona, but that seems like it's impossible now. And in fact, Barcelona sources are even coming out saying it's unlikely. So for him to go, he's going to have to go to somewhere else. We know that City hold him in high regard and therefore a high price tag. And will anyone pay the money? The fee that has now been rumoured that has just come out over the last hours is £70 million, which is apparently the fee that City are looking for. So, I mean, what you're saying, is that a fair fee? I mean, do you think it's too high? Do you think it's too low? Where are we at with this?
I personally think I don't see anyone paying it. 70 million.
How long is left on his contract now? Is it 2025?
Yep.
I don't see anyone paying that much.
That's a pretty heavy fee for a player with 2 years left in his contract. Like
and also,
City,
also, no one's even gone near them numbers.
You have to think about it with Bernardo Silva. Like, if anybody is to come and spend 70 million on any player this summer, it's their key signing for the summer. It's their marquee signing for the summer. It's their big spend. It's their big splash. Is anybody going to do that for Bernardo Silva? What club is in desperate need of a midfielder to the point where they'll spend 70 million? Who has 70 million to spend? That's the big question. The money's not flowing around Europe the way it used to, apart from us and Chelsea and maybe one or two others who we can talk about the possibility of him going to there. Who's going to do that? Nobody can pull that trigger very easily.
Yeah, I agree. This is why I've said, and this is why I'm confident. I'm not confident, but I'm on the level now where I think there's a serious potential that he might end up staying. I mean, we heard that he wants to go back to Benfica, right? So how old is he now? Let's have a look how old he is. He's 28, right? So he said he wants to go back to Benfica when he's, 31, 32, something like this. You don't want to leave it too late. He wants to be able to go there and still perform at a decent level. So you'd imagine 32 sort of like the last sort of age for that. He's going to be 29 at the start of next season. So he'll be 30 the season after. So the question comes back to what I've been saying for some time, in that give the guy a new deal, because he's underpaid relative to the other players in this team. If you look at his wages, right, he's underpaid relative to the other players. I think he's on 140, and when you got like a Kanji on 180, then
him and Gundogan are both on 140, I think.
Yeah, so he's underpaid relative to the other players in the team. I genuinely think there could be a scenario in which City offer him a new deal, boost his pay up past 200 grand a week, and then just say, look, just stay. And then when you're 31, 2 or 3 years' time, we'll let you go to Benfica, 40 million euros, 30 million quid, something like that. By the way, Benfica are not skinned. They've just received 120 million pounds for Enzo Fernandez. So it's not like that's an unrealistic deal. And to be honest, if they really wanted him, they could get him now because they can clearly afford it. They've just got 120 million. They're not going to do that, though, because they're not going to splash all the money on Bernardo. But the facts are, he wants to go to Benfica in 3 years. That then raises an issue, because then who wants to sign him only to have him for 3 years? That's unlikely. So, and the teams that can bid for him are not there. He doesn't want to stay in England. He doesn't want to be in the Premier League. Barca can't get him. I don't see him going to Real Madrid. I'd be disappointed in him personally if he went to Atletico, because he's such a dead team. So his options are limited. He could either go to Bayern, and fork out that kind of cash. Don't see it. Are Italy going to fork out that kind of cash? Don't see it. The only team that I can really see is PSG. If PSG don't want him or they bid low, then what's he going to do? So I think that City should just sit him down and be like, look, if Barcelona come in, you can go, no problem, but they've got to pay the fee. We'll get you on this new deal, get you on a sick deal, get you on 200 grand a week. We'll write something into the clause to say that if any, just do the release clause, if anyone bids this amount, then you can go. If not, by the time you're 31, you can go to Benfica for 30 million quid, 35 million quid. Everyone's a winner. Because at the moment, I feel kind of sorry for the guy, man. The guy wants out. He's one of the best midfielders going, and no one wants him. No one's bidding for him. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it's bad as well, the Bernardo conversation, because, the other day when we were speaking about how well he played against Bayern, and it's like, how can a guy that plays this well not be so recognised amongst world football that people aren't just stumping up this money?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it should be, we should be in a situation where people pay what City want. And then obviously last time we spoke about Bernardo's situation, you two were quite hopeful that he will stay, and then as you say there, like, there is a chance that he does stay, like, because no one will pay the fee that City want. Now, whether or not people change their mind this summer and suddenly get the cash to do that, I don't know. But I think him staying and then having a release clause in his contract to go to Benfica, I think that's a very good option for him. But it all depends on what his current situation is. I think the last thing I seen, the other day, it might have been Sam Lee, I can't remember. Last thing I seen the other day was that he's in the same situation, and if a fee comes in that's reasonable, City will accept that because he is in that same frame of mind now, which is a shame. But I think 70 mil, bro, I just don't see where you're getting this cash. I don't see who's going to pay it. So I think
it has to be PSG. It would have to be PSG, and no one else other than PSG is paying that cash. No one. So either the price is wrong and the source, which is Peter Rock from Footy Insider, and he's been speaking a lot about City players recently. Either he's wrong with his information in the £70 million price tag is incorrect, or no one's going to bid for this guy because the only team that I see paying this money is PSG. I don't see no one else spending that money. I don't even see like what teams want him, like what teams would actually not want him. Teams want him, but like. I just think for the money that you're going to have to spend, let's say that fee's wrong, right? I don't see City selling him for anything less than 50 million. Even 50 million, I struggle to see who's going to be buying him because remember, you got to rule out England because you don't want to be in England. You got to rule out Barcelona, right? So then you're left with, I don't think Italy can afford 50 million. I don't think any of them teams can afford 50 million quid on Bernardo Silva. So you're literally left with Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, which I don't personally see happening, Atletico Madrid, and PSG. There's no one else. So he's like I say, I think that
he's limited heavily.
He's limited, and I think honestly the best thing for him to do is just sign a new deal, get a big pay rise. He'll probably earn around 70% extra that he's earning already. He won't quite double it, but he'll be up there. And just write a clause into the contract. Write 2 clauses into the contract. The first one, release clause, 60 million euros. Right, any club, no problem. See you later. And then another another clause that when in 2 years or 3 years, whatever the club and the player agree with, you can go to Benfica for 30 million. Everyone's happy. Like, other than that, I don't know what else we're meant to do for him. We can't give him away for free.
Everyone's happy unless they're not. That's the only situation, isn't it? Like, everyone should be happy unless he's not happy. Like, because if he's not happy in his current situation, maybe the money things won't change that. And maybe he does just want to go elsewhere. Lewis Gillies put in the chat there, which is quite a good comment, actually. Maybe they're setting the price at like 70 million. Do you list something on eBay? Are you willing to have that? Or like do you know what I mean? You're willing to have that little bit of a negotiation bracket. Maybe they're doing that. They may basically putting the price at around £70 million, willing to accept around like 50.
But I go back to the point that I just made.
Yeah.
Who's bidding 50 million?
Who's going to bid 50 mil?
I think City are even being generous with 70 million. I think they're being really generous. Like, when you look at the situation, we're not a club that's in a position whereby we have to sell. We're not trying to raise funds desperately. We're not stuck for cash. And even though he has 2 years left in his contract, Bernardo Silva, as an actual footballer, he's a £100 million player in today's market. So us putting him down to 70 is actually being generous. It's us saying this is a pretty low value for a player we rate very highly. It's what we value him in our team. And in our team, he's absolutely valued in today's market, like I said, at least £100 million. But my second train of thought is, someone is surely going to say, Bernardo Silva for 70 million. We may not get this opportunity ever again. And they'll push their own boat out a little bit further than they would for anybody else. He's going to have his takers.
Who though, Hugh?
Listen, you don't know. You just don't know. But someone I just think someone will push the boat out. I just don't know who. But my own stance. I believe he's staying. I think if you give him a sufficient pay rise, give him the clarity that when the time comes where he should move on or he wants to go to X and Y, he can do that with relative ease. I think he's staying. I mean, he doesn't look like a player that's desperate to leave. He's not pushing really hard. He's just expressed interest. It was never a thing where he was like, I'm Bernardo Silva, get me out of here. I'm stuck in the jungle kind of thing. I want to leave. It was just, listen, I would like to play somewhere else. I would enjoy the experience. I want a new challenge. It was no, I hate it here. I want to leave. I think he can be easily talked into staying. And why would he throw it away? I've outlined these factors before. The team is moving in a fantastic direction. Pep's just signed a new extension. We will continue for trophy season out. He has an opportunity to be a club legend. If City win a Champions League or two, I'm not saying statue territory, but this guy could be a genuine club legend that goes down in Premier League and European football history. You just need to move on to a new project and restart somewhere else where he's not guaranteed all that. So he'll consider all this, man. He's not a dumb guy.
Yeah, well, that's obviously why he went to go to Barca, because obviously when he wanted to go to Barca 2 years ago, things didn't look quite as bad as they do right now. Obviously, they still had Messi at that point, which obviously they don't anymore, and then they were still all right. And of course, they're doing well this season. Fair dues. You know what I mean? They're probably going to win the La Liga, but I mean, they're a million miles away from competing in the Champions League, and La Liga stocks are probably the lowest that they've been in over 20 years, in my personal opinion. I think the La Liga is awful at the moment. And like I say, I think you have to go back probably over 20 years before you've had a worse La Liga than what you've got right now. So, yeah, I just think it's a really interesting one. And I'm with you, bro. I think Bernardo will stay. I think that there's a serious chance that he'll sign a new contract because as well, his agent, right? His agent here needs to be talking to him and being like, look, and obviously his agent will be incentivized to get him a new deal, whether that's a move or whether that's a contract, because obviously then they'll get more money, right? So his agent needs to be saying to him, like, look, listen, we're putting your name out there. City have told us the fee, and we're not getting much interest at the moment. I'm sure there will be interest, as you said, there will be interest, but maybe there's no interest at the level that City want and would be willing to let him go. So maybe they'll just be like, look, you've said all along you want to go back to Benfica. What's an extra couple of years? Like, you're enjoying your football. Like when he's on the football pitch, he's always smiling. You know what I mean? When he scores, he's buzzing. The players love him. The fans love him. Like the manager loves him. Everyone loves the guy. He's mint. Just say, look, stay an extra 2 years, 3 years. Because then I think, to be honest with you, right, even if we sign on a new deal, right, and then let him go in 2 years' time, so he will be 30 years old, right? I think if you let him go for 30 million, right, he's 30 years old. That's clearly undervalued, right? But if you let him go back to Benfica at 30, you'd have had him for what, 8 years? We signed him for like what, 45, 50 million? I can't remember the exact fee. 50 million euros, what, 45 mil? You're losing 15 million pound on him in terms of actual cash, but you've had him for 7 to 8 years of absolute brilliant play. So yes, you are getting a little bit roasted on the fee, but I think a player that's given so much to this team, I think I will be happy to do that. So 2 years, leave when you're 30. We get 30 million. You get a pay rise. You go back to Benfica when you're 30.
I'll tell you what I can see happening, and I don't know how people will react to this, but I think there's truth to it, or there's reality to it, that he'll sign a 1 year extension and they'll up his wages, and that'll put him on 3 years left in his contract, taking him to 31. And I think they may potentially do what they did with David Silva, allow him to go on a free to wherever he wants. At that stage, you've had him for 8-9 years, and you just let him go on the base that he's given so much to the club.
I don't know if they'll do that though, because you're literally letting. He'll be 31. He's at 31. Bernardo Silva for me is still in pure market value terms, probably a 50 million pound player, 40 million.
So was David Silva though. When we let David Silva go, he was still a 50 million pound player. He possibly still is a 40 million pound player right now.
How old was he when he left? He was older than that. He was like, what 34, 35? That's what I'm saying. So Bernardo Silva's still he'll only be 31. That's why I think if you give him a 2 year deal, at least you're going to get some cash back in. And Benfica are not going to turn the noses up and signing Bernardo Silva in 2 years, 3 years' time for 30 million quid. So he'll want to get some money back out of this. in my view.
Yeah, I think we'll want to return on money. I think it sounds good. You know what I mean? And obviously, if there's no one in the market for him, then like you say, his agent should be telling him like, look, ain't nothing happening here. City willing to put you on a new deal here for an extra couple of years with a higher wage. You're better off taking that higher wage and going for that. But Bernardo might just be like, I don't know. Bernardo might just be like, well, I don't want that. I want to get out. I want to get out.
Well,
I guess it depends on the desperation of Bernardo Silva to leave.
But then you've got to ask yourself the question: if you're Bernardo, you've been wanting out for 2 years. You've had 4 transfer windows. What's going to change? What's changing?
What was his best offer in 4 years? The rumoured PSG one for 60 mil.
He got AC Milan loan offer.
Yeah, that was terrible. That one, do you remember? 30 mil.
We thought that was done as well. We thought that was a done deal. Remember, it was one of the last few days of the transfer window in August. It's the same week we beat Arsenal 5-0 early last season.
Yeah, so you got to be real. You've had 4 transfer windows. No one's bidded the money for you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. He's in a weird situation. It's such a bizarre situation because a player of his quality should have clubs queuing all around Europe for his signature. And for some reason, in fact, I know the reason. I've said this for the last 2 years. The reason is because he doesn't get the numbers. He doesn't get the numbers to justify the fee, and that's why teams will not sign him for a big cash, because he gets 10 goals a season, maybe gets 10 assists. People are not going to spend 70 million quid on a midfielder that scores 10 assists. They're just not. Even though we as City fans know what he gives us. He gives us, look what he did against Bayern. You know what I mean? He scored, didn't he, as well, and got the assist, but he gives us a lot more than just that in that game. He gives you the energy, the work rate, the desire, the passion. I just don't think those attributes tally up in terms of financial cash situation. People are very much stat orientated. People love stats. And like I said, for the last 2 years, finance directors, managers, they'll go, do you want this player, right, for 50 million who scores 20 goals a season and gets 15 assists? Or do you want Bernardo Silva for 70 million who gets 10 goals and 10 assists? I'm sorry. I think that's what people have done, because I don't have any other explanation. Why have no one else bidded for him? That, in my opinion, that is the cold hard facts. Teams don't want to sign him. I don't want to pay the money because they don't think he gets the numbers, which is frankly ridiculous because we all know how good he is. But I don't have any other explanation for it other than that.
Yeah, I suppose clubs may not be willing to take the risk. They may not be willing to take the risk that when you take Bernardo out of this Manchester City team and a Pep Guardiola system, that he'll have the exact same impact everywhere else he goes. Because like we always say, he's a really unique player. He adds something really unique to a team. But as you said, what he does add doesn't translate to heavy cash because it doesn't bring the stats, unfortunately.
That's it. Big up Dr. Footy with the super chat. Says, give me 5 minutes with Bernardo and he'll stay. SS.
I get the feeling, just as a human being, I get the feeling that Bernardo Silva is kind of happy to stay. He doesn't mind the idea of staying, but I feel like he has some external pressures. Maybe it's family saying we want you to come home. Maybe it's his girlfriend wants to go back to where she's from and that kind of thing. I think him as a human, based off what I see of him on the pitch and when I go to the games and his body language, he loves it. He absolutely loves playing for this team. He loves playing in front of the fans. That's why I don't think he's pushed harder to leave. I think if he really was desperate to go, he'd be gone by now. He would have forced it. He would have stopped going to training, transfer requests, yada, yada, yada. But he hasn't done that. Why?
Well, yeah, okay. So one, you might be right on that one. The other one might be because his agent's saying, don't skip training. Don't do a transfer request, bro, because no one's fucking bidding for you. I mean, that could be the other option. You might be right on the first bit, but the second option might just because there's literally no interest. For some reason, there ain't no interest anywhere. Bizarre.
People in the chat saying, dump the girlfriend. Dump the girlfriend. Because that's apparently it, isn't it? That she doesn't want to live here anymore and that. And then obviously they're both unhappy here.
I don't
fully know, but I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to name drop the girlfriend. I just said family pressures, and But I know what you're saying. People are suggesting that she's the main force, saying, "Listen, we need to get out of Manchester." She doesn't like Manchester, but that's all.
Well, he was living with Cancelo, wasn't he? So was Bernardo and his girlfriend living with Cancelo in the same flat? Is that what was happening? Because they were living with each other at one point.
Yeah, they were
the same building. Same building. There's 2 or 3 of them in the same building.
So it's kind of bizarre, man. Big up to Joel Webb as well with the super chat with the 2. Says Maddison and McAllister now, Odegaard in 2 years. So Joel's not thinking about outgoings, he's thinking about incomings only.
Odegaard's a wild one.
I think Odegaard would be sick, but that ain't happening. As much as I'd love Odegaard in 2 years, I feel like it's just an unachievable feat right now. But it would be incredible in this side. I do think that the Maddison thing, I think, is heavy potential. I think if we lose Bernardo Silva this summer and Gundogan, I could see us going for Jude and Maddison. I feel like, well, when Maddison was the first person we turned to in January, when we sweated a little bit about Bernardo getting loaned out, went straight to Maddison. They're £50 million, so I feel like Pep would do the exact same thing in summer.
I feel like Maddison he has Newcastle written all over him. I would happily have him.
It does stink of a Newcastle move, that. You are right.
He has Newcastle written all over. The way I see it panning out is we lose one of possibly both, I suppose, of Bernardo and Gundo. We get Bellingham, and then we go after someone like that Vega guy, someone far less proven and has potential. You know, the Pep and the scouting system have done their reviews on or their reports on. But yeah, Maddison for me, I think he's tune bound.
You know, Bernardo's now played 294 matches for Manchester City. He's up there, isn't he? He's up there with like one of our most.
It's wild, isn't it?
Most played players. Like Pep loves him, man. You know, Pep absolutely loves him. So it is kind of crazy. You know, it's kind of crazy. I'm going to try and find the stats actually, so I can see where he's on the list, because that'd be pretty sick to see. But yeah, pretty mad developments.
Yeah, it's crazy, really. It's crazy.
On a percentage scale, what percentage are you at that he'll stay at Manchester City
This season,
beyond this summer?
10%.
10.
I'm at like 80.
No, I think he's gone.
I'm at like 85.
I think he's gone, me.
Is it?
But where?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know, but I just think someone will come in. I think he'll go.
That's what I was saying. I just think someone.
I just think someone, whether it's AC Milan or Napoli or something. Not Napoli, obviously. We don't deal with them. I think he's gone. And that people don't be so negative. I'm not trying to be negative in it. I just genuinely think he's gone.
Wow.
But at the same time, I just don't know where. I'm basically chatting shit because I can't give you a club where he could go to, and I don't know who's going to pay the money that City will accept. However, I do think he will go, and I think our club will do it, but I just don't know. I just
think the club will be so reluctant to lose both of them in the summer.
Yeah, I agree.
That's such a massive shock.
It's a heavy loss. The experience in the team and working with Pep in the midfield there, that's an incredible loss for City, and I think it could be it could be a bit rocky next year if we do that.
He'll want to hold on to one of them on the basis that it'll smoothen the transition from what we have now to Jude and say a Vega and that kind of thing. I don't think they'll want to lose that wealth of experience all at once. I think the shock that would have to the dressing room, I don't know about detrimental, but it would definitely be damaging.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bernardo's a big part of the energy in the squad as well. Like not on the pitch. I mean, like in the dressing room.
He's a personality, isn't he?
Yeah,
everyone seems to get on with him pretty well.
Everyone gets on with him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tricky.
It's a difficult one. It is a difficult one, and it's wild. I think this is one of them ones that's just going to go on and on and on. Because, like we say, there's no real links right now to any club. So I feel like it's just going to be a circulating storm over the summer. I feel like you might get a few more of the Bernardo interviews, maybe like just trying to like put the feelers out there to people. Do you know what I mean? It's basically say, I do want to leave this football club this summer. Please.
I think if he leaves, it'll be dragged out. It'll be brought right till the end. I don't think anybody who needs a midfielder or is in the market for a midfielder is identifying Bernardo Silva at 70 million and saying that's what we're going to get. I think it's more likely a situation whereby it gets right to the last few days. Someone is in panic mode. Someone is desperate for a midfielder and they go, fuck it, pull the trigger, spend the 70 million. We need him. That's the only way I see it happening.
If he does stay, by the way, if he does sign a new contract and he ends up staying for the next 3 years, there's a very, very good chance that he'll get into the he'll get into the top 10 most played Manchester City players of all time. But he'd have to do probably 3 years and remain like a key vocal part of the team, which you would imagine he would. So I mean, that just shows you how important he is to our team. You know, he's crucial, and especially in the big games. You've seen bringing him back in for the Bayern Munich game. You know, he's for me 100% starts again against Bayern Munich on Wednesday. I don't see a world in which Pep Guardiola wouldn't start him on that right hand side. He absolutely tormented Alphonso Davies, and so I don't know, man. Like I say, it'd be interesting to see what the chat. Give us your thoughts, innit? You know what I mean? Percentage-wise, 0%, you think he's gone, 100%, like you think he's defo gone, or 100%, you think he's definitely staying. Let us know in the chat where you're at, man, because obviously we're quite split on this one. I'm interested to see what the chat's saying.
Sam says 75%. That's decent.
Yeah. Patrick with an 80, Marcia at 65, Aline 60, Mojis 0.
Tasha's 75% going. Are you all doing percentages staying or percentages going?
Yeah, this is percent staying, by the way. So 100. If you say 100%, that means
he's 100% staying.
He's 100% staying. Big up Dave with 11 months member chat says, I think Bernardo might go to PSG because PSG sporting director Luis Campos loves Bernardo. He's the one that brought Bernardo to Monaco from Benfica. Well, for me, I would probably say that if he does go, PSG are probably the club that he's going to go to. They have the funds.
I think so too, yeah. There was
apparently Mbappe wants him as well. Apparently Mbappe wants him.
Well, Mbappe's the manager, isn't it? So he makes his own transfers. Man is literally playing like Joe, the player manager career mode. That is literally what he's doing.
He owns the keys.
Yeah, he's got the keys. So I think he could go there and smash it as well.
Yeah.
I think he'd fit in that.
Smash it there, innit?
But I mean, I think he'd fit in that side really well.
He would. He'd give him the work rate and the ethic that they need. That's one thing that I think that team probably lacks, a little bit of work ethic. And he can go in there, just mop it up in the middle of the park and just let the other three, whoever's there, I don't know who's going to be there next season, but whoever's there, do their thing, you know. So PSG, I think that's the one for me. If PSG are interested, he'll go to PSG because PSG will pay the cash. If they're not interested, he'll stay. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I could probably back that.
Because I just don't know who else comes in for him. I don't believe anyone else has the cash.
Could you see Real Madrid if they lose out in Bellingham deciding to pull 70 on Bernardo?
No, I don't think so.
I do not see, but now you know sometimes you see players in a different kit. Yeah, I don't see Bernardo in a Real Madrid shirt.
Man's been twerking for Barca Bear.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see him going to Real Madrid. Funny enough, I could see him going to Atletico. I think he'd suit their style, but I'd just be like, "What the hell are you doing going there, bro? Don't go there, innit? Please, I beg you, don't go there." If he goes to PSG, I'd be kind of happy for him. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, big up you. You know what I mean? You got to move. You smashed it for us. We got the cash. See you later. Have a good time and that. Yeah. If he goes Atletico Madrid, I'm gonna be like, serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious? What are you doing going there for, man?
Yeah, I feel like it's a waste of his ability.
Yeah, definitely. But it would suit their style.
But yeah, I think the energy that he brings is wild for it. But
have they got cash, Atletico? Have they got big cash?
I think they have a bit of cash. They spent 120 on Felix, didn't they?
Yeah.
So I think they can find a couple of coins down the back of the sofa when they want to.
Yeah. I wonder what. I'm just trying to think of other clubs where he could go, and my head just keeps going back to AC Milan. Do you think there could be any swap deal possible with any club?
Nah.
He cooked with Napoli. Him, Kvaratskhelia, Osimhen, and all them, they'd absolutely cook.
Yeah, he'd do sick there.
Swap deals potentially, but who is City wanting? You know what I mean? I don't think City are that desperate for a left back. So,
AC Milan. And if he says about Champions League football, I mean, they're in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I just don't see that.
Bayern, did you say?
Yeah, I could see them doing it.
I could actually see them doing it. We've dealt with Bayern before.
I can see him playing for Bayern.
I don't think they need him, though. Do they need him?
Depends on what's their midfield usually. Kimmich,
Goretzka, Musiala.
Yeah.
I think they don't need him. That's what I'm saying. I think the PSG, man. PSG are bust. Don't see no one else.
I think he's staying. That's my bottom line. I think he's staying for Manchester City for another at least 2 years.
I'm actually going to do a Pollins.
I'd like him to stay because I want him to stay completely. I mean, it'd be mint. It'd be mint if he had a change of heart. Paratosh for 23 months says, I think we should also think about player exchange with some cash instead of other teams outright buying Bernardo. Oh yeah, Paratosh, I didn't even see that, but then yeah, that's what I was just speaking about then. Appreciate the member chat, bro. Sabo with a 35 Zar says, what's City's plan for Foden? Too many midfield links, no word on if he's a winger for good now. Yeah, it's weird with Foden because he never gets an actual run in as a midfielder. I just feel like under Pep, I think he'll be stuck out wide. Personally, like I feel like his midfield time might come later on. He's only 22 and he Foden.
Yeah, he's young.
So he's still got a long time to move into that midfield position. It would be nice if we could see it a little bit more though. And we've heard from Pep as well saying that he long term the idea is to move forward into midfield, but it just guy cooks on the wing at times. So I think we're just
he's in no rush to midfield.
Yeah, that's it. That's what he's 22.
Yeah, people forget how young he is. We still have all these leaders in the middle of the park. There's no point forcing it. If he's doing well out in the wing, which he is, and the current midfielders are doing well, which they are, there's no need to force it. I mean, we've seen it. Like we've had to play him once this season in midfield. I think it was Chelsea in a cup game. He did very well.
Yeah. Lil Millions of the 5 says Bernardo is staying the way he plays suits City the best. His wages and his transfer fee will be too high. He wants Barca, but they can't afford him. Factual information, all of it facts. It's such a strange one, the Bernardo Silva saga. It's because us as City fans know his worth, but that's not like represented across the world in the transfer market.
It's not what the market wants. The market wants killers. It wants goals. It wants assists. Doesn't want people who work hard, man, and do shit for the team. That do the dirty work. That's the cold, hard facts. And they place very, very little value on that. Very little value. Hence why he's still at the football club after 2-3 years of wanting out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You look at Anthony. 80 million.
Yeah, it's cash in it.
I know Bernardo, we sort of see him as a midfielder, but he does play right wing, and he did play a full season on the right wing and did a very good job.
I mean, he played right wing against Bayern the other day. Because I think we can safely say, even United fans, when they take off the red tinted goggles, will probably say that they'd take Bernardo over Anthony, right? Unless like, you know, their ball knowledge is weak. If Anthony's 80 million quid, I'm talking 130, 140 for Bernardo minimum.
What were Anthony's stats before he came to United? Was he slamming at Ajax?
Of course he was, yeah. Well, I'll get these stats up, bro. Of course he was slamming everyone. You know, I mean, this is why I always say, though, isn't it? You know, risky buying players from the Eredivisie, man. You know, I mean, I have a bit of an agenda against that division. Yeah, he got 12 goals. It's actually didn't do that good, man. He got 12 goals, 10 assists. I thought he was slamming it.
I thought he was slamming it.
Yeah, so it's not even that good. So they paid 80 million quid, right, for a guy that got 12 goals, 10 assists in all comps, by the way. That's in 33 games, which is decent. You know, I mean, that is a decent record. But, I mean, you got Bernardo Silva who's hitting similar numbers in the Premier League, and the guy can't catch a bid. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's weird. It's a weird situation.
Will he go to PSG after playing for Monaco? Is that something that's a thing?
Of course he will.
I think he'd go PSG, yeah.
Fucking Mbappe went, didn't he?
Mbappe went, yeah.
Yeah, well, we know about Mbappe, though.
Yeah, I think he will, bro. He's not got no loyalty to Monaco, has he? He was only there a couple of years.
I think he's staying, man. Bottom line, I think he's staying. I think he's a Manchester City player for the next at least 2 years, and then they'll go to Benfica. I think that's the path. I think we've cracked the code. And
you know what as well, right? If that is true, we'll benefit from the ignorance of European teams, because that's what they're doing now. Let's call a spade a spade. European teams right now are being ignorant. They're ignorant. They're ignorant to what Bernardo Silva offers us right now and to what he could offer them. All they're doing is looking at the goals, looking at his assists and going, I ain't worth the money. They're ignorant to what he does, especially in big games. There must be a team out there, right, that does pretty well in most games and then just struggles in the big games. Bernardo Silva's your man. Bernardo Silva is your man, and they're just not getting him because they're ignorant.
You know, City need to hire you as the rep guy, innit, bro, and to sell Bernardo Silva for a minute. Bernardo needs to hire you, innit? You get like an ad going.
Yeah,
there.
Bernardo needs to hire us. City don't need to hire us because we don't want him to go, man.
Dave Rocket the 5 says if you had one choice, keep one of Bernardo or Gundo, who would you choose? He says it's Bernardo for him just because of energy and versatility. I think we had this conversation before. If Bernardo wanted to stay and he was fine with staying, I'd pick Bernardo. But if Bernardo does want to leave, Gundo, just on the basis that Bernardo wants to go.
What about if they both want to leave?
And if they both want to leave, then, then Bernardo, because they both want to leave anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty mad. Actually, we've got some breaking news on the Ilkay Gundogan situation come out a couple of minutes ago. Ilkay Gundogan has an offer from Manchester City to stay beyond the season, so that's been confirmed. The club know he's talking to other clubs. Barcelona are increasingly confident that they can sign Gundogan, whilst he's also had approaches from Bayern Munich and PSG, which is interesting because if PSG are interested, that means PSG want a midfielder.
Yeah, if PSG are interested in Gundo, you can bet they're probably interested in Bernardo as well. They probably looked at that.
Cool. They're probably thinking to themselves, why do we spend £70 million when we can get Gundogan on a free? Yeah. So they're probably going, let's go for Gundogan first. And if we can't get Gundogan, maybe he stays at City or go Barca, then we'll move for Bernardo Silva.
Do you think the Gundogan situation is hindering Bernardo's situation? Because people could just look at Bernardo and you go, oh, but we can get Gundogan for free. Both play midfield role. Both play on that same side. Like,
I mean, yes and no. Only one club, PSG, because Barcelona can't afford.
They can't afford anyone anyway, innit? Like,
I've pretty much ruled out every other club because of the reasons we've already gone through, because they can't afford him anyway. So it's only really PSG. So if Gundogan went PSG and then Bernardo ended up staying, then you could look at that back at that and go, yeah, Gundogan was the reason Bernardo stayed at City because PSG went for Gundogan, not Bernardo. But if Gundogan goes to Barcelona and PSG don't pull the trigger on Bernardo, then I don't think it's making any difference. Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
The poll, by the way, 73% of people in the chat say Bernardo stays. 28% of people say Bernardo leaves. So
interesting.
Confidence levels are high, man. Confidence levels are high. I'm actually waiting to see it.
The only good thing, if it continues, is even though Bernardo's not happy, he puts in a shift. He still gives his 100% and all for the club. So even if he wants to go and he can't get that move out, at least we can kind of back that he'll be giving 100%. Hopefully, as long as that does continue.
Yeah, I don't think Bernardo Silva. I don't think Bernardo Silva is the type of player, bro, to be like, you know what, I'm gonna down tools or whatever. He's always gonna give 110%. Yeah, he's that type of player. He's that type of guy.
Don't kick up a fuss, innit? Just like gets on.
Yeah, and like I said earlier in the stream, if he does go on strike or puts a transfer request in, you still got to have a club that actually wants you. And right now, that's the problem.
Yeah, no.
City have said all along, the City said, not just about Bernardo Silva, they said it about every player. If a player wants to leave, here's the price, get someone to buy it, and you're gone. See you later. We don't mess about. We don't keep players who don't want to be here. That indicates that no one's bidded for Bernardo Silva the value that City want. And City are not going to hold Bernardo Silva ransom to some crazy price. We're shit at selling players as it is. Mm-hmm. We're not going to start right now on Bernardo Silva, a guy who gets 10 goals and assists a season, and go 100 million quid. You know what I mean? We're not going to do that. So
I hope the guy has a change of heart and wants to stay. That's what I hope. I hope he's like, you know what? Nah, I love it here, me. End of the season, I hope he's like, love this. Get a new contract.
I think he does love it. Which is why he isn't for it. I think he does genuinely love it where he is, but there could be external factors as to why he's been told he needs to move.
Family matters.
I just like, what he said there, he always gives his all, and even when he potentially does want to leave, he still gives his all for the shirt kind of thing. That's what fills you with hope. That's what gives us the reason we've outlined that we think he might stay. He just doesn't look like a player who's desperate to move.
Doesn't.
But do you think, let me just throw another spanner in the works. Do you think, should we win the Champions League this year and he's completed everything, then he might say, listen, get me the hell out. I've done it now.
No, because, bro, it doesn't change. He can do whatever he wants. He can win the Ballon d'Or. He still needs a club to bid the cash. That's
I
the
mean,
fact.
I hear that.
If
I
he wins
hear
the
that.
Ballon
Ben,
d'Or,
do you
I
think
reckon
do you think
someone
he'll put more pressure himself? Do you think he'll ramp up the energy to get out if he wins everything?
He
I
can
get
ramp
we
it
need
up.
someone to come
He
in.
can ramp it up all he wants, but it's the other clubs around Europe that need to be doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We can win the Champions League. He can win the treble this season. If no club bids the money, he's not going.
The thing is, right, if he does want to leave, the best thing he can do is keep giving his 100% and keep doing what he's doing right now and give City make the difference on the pitch and give the team the best, obviously, from him. And if we go and win the Champions League or something like that, I think that does help sell him. I think that helps his move because then he might get a little bit more recognition from other teams and they go, you know what, I want that man in the club. Look at the way he cooked Bayern. He absolutely slammed against Bayern.
Yeah,
That teams will have watched that and gone, wow, look at Bernardo Silva here, looks mint. He needs to keep them performances coming, and then that'll give himself the best opportunity to leave the football club if he does want to go. But that's the thing, though. He can do that all he wants. There's still no guarantee. It's not a guarantee of the club turning around and going, yeah, that is 60 mil. Like he's in a shit position.
Did Bernardo not play well last season? Did he not? Did he not play well the season before? He's been playing well since he wanted to leave, and no one's bidded for him. So, you know, the facts are the facts. It's very, very simple. Bernardo Silva can leave Manchester City at the agreed price that City have told Bernardo Silva, which I can guarantee you now will not be excessive. And I personally believe 70 million is wrong. I think it'll be lower than that.
I think it's wrong.
I think it's wrong. I think it'll be lower than that. And even if it is 70 million, going back to what one of you guys said, it will be a negotiate and it will be drop. I think City will let him go for 55, 60 million.
Oh, yeah,
the facts are nobody has bidded that money, and that's why he's still a Manchester City player. And he can put as much pressure on Manchester City as he wants, but if no one bids the cash, he ain't going in it.
I said, don't go anywhere. I can't go anywhere.
No, but I'll sell you, yeah, this bottle of juice. I'm putting this is for sale. He doesn't want to be in my flat anymore. He wants to leave, right? So I'll go, okay, I'll sell you for a quid, bro. And that's fair value, yeah. Actually, because it's half empty, it's probably 30p, right? 30p. And I will sell you to whoever, right? It's like, Sal, I'm worth 30p. That's a fair deal. If no one knocks on my door and says, ERLB, here's 30p.
The juice stays in the flat.
What am I meant to do? I can't just put him outside the door.
Yeah, the juice stays in the flat until it expires, isn't it? So
exactly.
That's it. That is Bernardo.
I terminate his contract. I go, okay, no one's bidded for you. I will let you leave the flat, put you outside my flat. You are no longer mine. But then someone can just pick you up for free. But then I'm losing 30p. Why would I do that? Why am I going to put this outside and lose 30 pence? I want my 30p, man.
There you go. There's an analogy.
Over the juice, in it. He's like, yo, I'm wasting no 30p.
The juice hates the flat, man.
Cost of living crisis, you know? I can't be wasting no 30p. Yeah. Lewis Gillis says, now say it with the hat on and I'm sold. The tinfoil hat. Take my money.
You know, for a fact, man, we're going to be speaking about Bernardo Silva in 2 years' time. Have exactly the same conversation.
You know what we'll do in 2 years? We'll re-upload this stream.
Yeah.
We'll premiere it as if it's an actual stream, and then we'll just redo it. We'll go all again.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. We'll keep our eye on it. I think he's staying. You think he's staying. You think he's leaving.
Yeah.
Are we all agreed, though, if he does leave, it's probably PSG?
I think it's PSG.
Yeah. It's the obvious club that you can identify now. I could just see someone pulling the trigger in a panic and saying, here's 55, and City take it.
I mean, maybe
AC Milan just rings something for me. I don't know what it is.
I mean, maybe you'd go to Italy. I mean, to be fair, the Italian league is improving, but they're still low on cash. So the only way that they're going to get him is probably some sort of swap deal. But I mean, Leao, apparently he's about to sign a new deal. I mean, I say that.
He's been signing a new deal for about 6 years, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Ever since he got that first
What's
deal.
Juve's situation? Are they still in the bin?
I think they're short, bro.
Who's that?
No cash.
I think they're short, man. They're seventh, bro. He ain't going to go there, innit?
Who's seventh?
Juventus.
Oh, Juventus.
Juve, no cash.
Yeah, he's not going to go. So the top four right now, yeah, is Napoli. All right, he might go Napoli, but have they got the money to spend on that? I don't know. I'm genuinely asking the question. Would they have to do some sort of swap deal? Would City even get involved? Probably not. That's probably one team that City will be like, sorry, Bernardo, we're just not doing
Yeah.
business there. Lazio, I mean, they're smashing it this season. They're doing really, really well. They're second. Is he going to go Lazio? Don't see it. Is he going to go Roma? Possibly massive club, but he wants to be winning leagues. Surely, AC Milan, they're doing decent in the Champions League. They're currently sat in 4th, but they're probably going to have to do some sort of swap deal. I don't know, and it's just a massive downgrade, man. It's a massive downgrade.
I genuinely think it's PSG or bust at this point.
PSG are expecting to lose Messi as well this summer, and he can play similar.
He could play that right wing role.
He seems like a natural replacement.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, crazy. We'll have to keep our eye on this one. It's going to be one that drags on, just like the Gundogan one. I expect this to drag on all season, all summer, until we find out what's going to happen. If you're watching back on the replay, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and we'll see you later. See you in a bit.